worked so hard. You're so like me. You can multitask. You can do everything. That's one thing I respect about you. You can do everything. You don't feel like this is a small job. I can't do it. Something that this generation will no longer have. We feel like, oh, how can I go and do tailoring? How can my friends see me on that machine when I graduated? So today I was listening to a speech of some billionaire. So he was asked about what he sees as the future of his generation. So this is what he had to say. He said, my grandfather walked 10 miles to school. I walked 5 miles to school as well, but now I'm driving a Cadillac. My son is driving a Mercedes. My grandson will be driving a Ferrari. But my great grandson will walk again. So the gentleman asked him, why that? He said, tough moments create tough men, create strong men. Strong men, strong men create strong men create weak moments, and then weak moments, tough moments create strong men. Strong men create weaker moments. Weaker moments create soft men. So those soft men cannot work as hard as the tough moments that created the tough man could work. So as someone has really worked extremely tirelessly for the success you have now, how are you setting the pace for your son, and how are you training them not to lose up as the generation? Now it's all about social media, wake up, watch Netflix, and that's what we do. That's our boys are always on video games. How are you doing it for your son, and how can parents learn from you, and how can we raise these boys better?
Okay, grateful to be here. Thank you for the invite. That's a wide thing to talk about, but I'll try and break it down. And part of that is I look at how I've been raised and where I'm heading. So when I look at my great-great-grandfather, who was a king in Rwanda, they fought, they came to Uganda in 1896, and he had his son, then had my grandfather in 1922. JK Kazoora, my grandfather, in 1922. And he had 8 children. The first boy, the second born was my father, James Kazoora, who was working in the Bank of Uganda for 20 years. Had 5 children, 4 girls. I'm the only boy. He died when he was 41. Well, my grandfather, pretty decent guy. He fought in the Second World War. His 8 children, he provided a piece of land for them, which they have. I try to educate them. The 8 children, they've had 54 grandchildren. Some have made it, some have not made it. They're in the village drunkards. Some have lost, some have died, some. So you look at then now me, my generation, how we're treated. We're the guys that your father would walk in, you'd run away. But of course me, I had it tough. Of course my father died when I'm only 9. I had to be raised by other people. So no role model, and no one cares about you. So I guess that's how I ended up in my comfort zone in entertainment, because I could do so many things in entertainment and find a way to survive. Because me, fees was a problem. So you look at the family and know, okay, what's a legacy like? And then you look at some families that probably Dr. Maggie will say, okay, now, my generation, how am I saving? How am I working not for my children, Navio? In case you don't Navio, that's Navio's mother. So you know that I am not working for Navio. I am working for Navio's grandchildren. So I'll give an example of Wavamuno. Wavamuno will, you look at Lake Vic Hotel. He gave it away for 30 years when I I just joined WBS. Yeah. So he has, that lease ended. He has given it away for another 40 years. So that 40 years, his sons, Elvis, is not going to touch that money when the hotel is back. Even Elvis's son, who is now, the firstborn is like 35. He'll be 75. He'll be too old to touch that hotel. So it will be his great-grandchildren. So again, going back, that's you asked me something not related to, I don't know if I'm even communicating what we talked about. So when you invited me anyway, for about this legacy.
Exactly. Legacy and generational wealth.
For the boys.
Yes.
Because the girls are usually taken. So,
the other
yes.
So it's a very important which our parents normally don't have. They look at tomorrow, yesterday, 5 years, 10 years. It's amazing.
Yeah, so when you have a boy like me, I have 3 boys. My brother, I have 3 boys. And when I'm even planning for them, I'm like, okay, the best I can do is make sure that they have the education, but I also have to think ahead for their children and my grandchildren. How do you do that? If you're lucky enough to have some documents that you can keep and know that you do the trust things and the Wavamu knows what they're doing, and you look up, you say, okay, fine, that can push on. And the partnerships that you also create in terms of which family are you working with, which legacy are you going to follow. So as a boy, you also start to think and say, okay, I think I'm comfortable working with so-and-so. I see their legacy. I see they've been running the family for 100 years. My son can marry in this family, and I know the legacy might, continue and grow. But what are the challenges of a boy child? Now, me growing up as the only boy, and growing up in many families, it was hard to find a role model. I had many. And if you liked a certain uncle, you try to probably want to be like them. But you reach a space and say, but again, this is not like. So I ended up looking at other people. And you don't have to look at your father, your uncle, your what. You can look at someone else and say, this is my role model. You can look at Dr. Magigos and say, for me, I am going to follow her. What is she doing? In case I did something and I met her, what would she tell me? Yeah. So I went ahead and moved away from my family members and got role models that were out of my country. Even on television, I went ahead and looked at a guy like Trevor Nelson. There was a TV presenter when I was doing Jam Agenda. A guy was called Trevor Nelson. I went ahead and watched every bit about him, to the point that one day I did a Jam Agenda show before his would be on Wednesday, mine would be on Tuesday. And they had selected 3 songs in my lineup for my show, in their show. And that's when I realized that I think now I need a new role model. I need to move on to Ryan Seacrest and all these guys. So it's important that you have a role model, someone you look up to. Number 2, you have to look good. You have to make sure that whatever money you get, buy that shoe, buy that nice shirt. Impression is everything. If you don't stand in the mirror, you're leaving your home and say, wow, I look nice. This cashew is matching my yellow thing. I'm going to be in the field. You must look good. And I always tell you, Simari students, that impression is everything. Now, for the girls, whether we do what, girls are stronger than us. Mentally, they are stronger than us. You cannot compete with a woman. You can't. She's better than you by far. Even abroad, some of us who have lived abroad, doctor will know, if a woman calls police and you've just slapped her like this, and she calls police, just get down and put your hands up and be ready to go to prison. But let a woman beat you, and you call police and say, the woman has beaten me, they just laugh at you. They'll do nothing. But let a woman report you. You're in trouble. So, as a boy child, you should know that even in the Bible, they are a weaker vessel. I feel they are a stronger vessel than us. Yeah? We have to love them, but we can't compete with them. There are certain things that God made that they are highly better than us and highly favored. So what do? If I give you an example here and say, all of you boys who are here, you're going to have 1 minute with doctor just to talk to her. 1 minute, have a conversation. And after maybe 50 or 30 of you have had a conversation, and I ask her, who would you want to talk to again? What would be her answer? Someone who is more knowledgeable at many things. I personally, even if she sat with me and all these gentlemen and all of you, I know she'd want to speak to me again. Because if he talks about entrepreneurship, I will know. If sales and marketing are there, we shall fight. Television media are there, we shall kick it. Maybe she can confuse me in doctor medical things. So what am I trying to say? Be knowledgeable at many things, so that you can have a conversation with anybody. So that if I come and meet some of you here, I'll say, I am more likely to talk to this guy because I might learn 1 or 2 things that he has studied that I don't know. So, the boy child, number 1, get mentors. Number 2, impression is everything. Be smart. Cut your nails, cut your hair, dress well, smell good. Number 3, be knowledgeable. Learn many things. Yeah, if they say media, opportunities, go learn. If they say this, learn. If they say you don't know, you may not do it, but it may help you in your conversation and well-being. Because now girls, a girl at 20 or 23 or 24, I see them, if she's beautiful, 5'4", nyash, dimples, what, you're never going to talk to her. Because we are here. Even guys older than me. So it becomes a bit difficult for you even to start engaging in relationships at your age. Because now, girls need money. Any girl now, name it. So why would she talk to you? If you're presentable, you smell good, you're knowledgeable, she's going to give you your time without money.
Thank you. Can we have a hand clap for JK? Thank you. Thank you very much, JK. Hope you guys have notebooks and you're writing down these key points. This is like a whole blueprint that JK has just given you. I feel like he has summarized one big topic, which is networking and